Hello, everybody. We got about a minute left here, maybe 30 seconds before we kick off this race. I'm Bread-kun, and with me today is Miendiem.
Hello, everybody.
And along with us, we got SoLastSummer here as our Restreamer and Linkforce on tracking. We have an Ambrosia and this race has some fun outcomes. Which was it? Rick wins. He advances. Quizbowl wins. It creates a very fun tiebreaker race-off scenario. A bunch of people fighting in yet another race, and I'm always and I mean, I enjoy chaos. I'm not gonna root for anyone, of course, but
I think it's okay to root for maximum chaos here, isn't it?
I enjoy chaos. It is fun.
Yeah, there was already one 3-player tiebreaker race in Challenge Cup that happened earlier today, in point of fact, and pending the outcome of this, we may get a second.
There are several that can still happen, and here we go in 2 seconds. And already a bit of a divergence. Quizbowl going for the standard Skull Woods. And Rick is gonna make a little bit of a gamble, seeing if he can get some bombs. Or maybe some cash. Get into this Hive Cave early. The magic is nice. Those rupees aren't. And alright, well, Rick's going straight left. Oh, he's got the $20. He can just go play. He can play Aero Game for some extra money. Get himself set up.
That's always nice. Of course, Quizbowl's over here just doing the early game bomb farm in the middle of, well, it's the front of Skull Woods, but except in Inverted, you almost never drop down into that, so it kind of feels middle-ish.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not even sure what. I'm not sure what to call it in most of the drop downs. But also, yeah, Rick picking up the Thieves Big, which I would imagine Quizbowl heads down to Vu first. So now Rick has the possibility to just go in and beat Thieves without the hammer, mind you, which is a little scary. But
yeah, and sometimes that's what Inverted wants you to do. That is one of the twin dangers of early Ambrosia. The other one, of course, being as long as you're not locked out of getting your Skullwood small keys and the game hands you a fire rod, it can totally expect you to just do 3-heart fighter sword Mothula. That's the kind of compelling gameplay everybody wants.
I would imagine we're gonna see a swing at an early blind here, because it looks like so far we're not pulling up too much unless we get something big in Thieves or Vu. Yeah, early game Inverted is a little on the linear side. You really don't have much.
And another one of those dangers I was talking about with the potential for an early moth fight is, because this is Ambrosia and not just Inverted 7-7, the nice thing is you get to start with that sword. The bad thing is, the Ambrosia rule, part of that Ambrosia rule set, is you will always find a non-dungeon item on the boss. So if the game gives you access to moth, the likelihood that you need to clear it is substantially increased.
Oh yeah. Also, Ambrosia does. I mean, Inverted already. Oh, there's a lamp. Let's all we need is a glove, and as I was about to talk about, Ag is already in play. There's a glove.
Speaking of the glove,
we can climb Aga right now. It's in logic. Ambrosia with the starting sword. All you need is a lamp and a glove, and there you go. Go climb Aga for Light World.
There are a few remaining checks kicking around, but Quizbowl with that quick save and quit back to Dark Sank.
Yeah, he didn't opt to do clear. I'm assuming he wants to do Vu and then loop down to Stumpy to make it slightly faster. And it's gonna be, it may be slightly unfortunate, is because he's gonna get that Thieves big after he's already cleared the front of Thieves. It could be a blessing, or it might be unfortunate. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, tough to say until one of the runners goes in there and shows us what is actually contained within Thieves Town. Now that glove and the lamp also gives us the unfortunate, potentially, possibility of having to do somewhere between 3 and 5 heart green male dances with Lionels up there on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, something you really hope that you have a cape or no. Otherwise, you're gonna be really relying on proper bomb usage.
And AdirondackRick trying to take down a Murderdactyl with a sign, and instead the sign with the whiff and the Murderdactyl with one clean kill. The first inverted death of the game, the unintentional variety anyway.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but given where it was, it's not the end of the world. You can get back there fairly quickly. Also, we have a front key in the, or wait, sorry, we have a front key, a small key in the front of Thieves, which puts a bit of fear in that big chest. Just a.
It also means that the game can be expecting you to logically go ahead and clear this dungeon right now, and leave that big chest behind for later, and then you say, well, when do I go back for that if there's an item in it?
And I really inverted to be a little mean like that.
Quizbowl still lacking that Thieves Town big key for the moment is done.
Yeah, just gonna clear out the rest of Vu here, loop his way around, find the big key, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he makes the play to clear Thieves or just make the mountain play immediately. Honestly, so right now on the mountain we only have 2 checks available, and then Aga. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I do wonder because having already seen that small key, knowing that the dungeon is logical, and by the same token having walked in there, and this is not a shuffled map mode, so he knows that it's a pendant, you do kind of get that push-pull because, like you said, there's not a whole lot there up on the mountain for him to go play around with.
Mm-hmm. And for all we know, it could just be the seed wants you to dupe back of pendant thieves and potentially leave the big chest item. Could just be nothing in the big chest, or it might just want us to climb Aga and decide, hey, go to Bottle Merchant, buy your Moon Pearl off of him for $100. You never know.
Well, we've even got a first bottle already. You should maybe bunny walk to the small child and turn in the bottle and see if there's a Moon Pearl there. Where did you find that, kid?
Honestly,
Where
when it comes to
do you kids
inverted,
get these things?
when it comes to inverted, like I know in normal modes, doing an Aga climb that wasn't required hurt, but honestly, it's not that bad in inverted if you take the Aga climb and it turns out, oh, you didn't actually have to do it, because it does set up several honestly very convenient locations. Notably, being able to just save quit and being on top of the GT entrance immediately is very nice, honestly.
There's that. It gets you right into the middle of the world without having to use the portal at 4, so if you don't have a hammer yet, it can be a much more convenient way to get around the light world. There are things to be said in a positive manner for doing a technically non-required Aga in an inverted seed like this.
Like, I mean, I can even see an argument for it if you happen to have a seed that's, very gross of, yeah, just go do 3 heart fighter sword cold stare and get your hammer off of, or not hammer, get something Dark World access or a Moon Pearl or something off of them.
Yeah, no, my opening seed this tournament required logically a 4-heart dances with Lionels, followed by a bunny walk through Paradox Cave past those mini Moldorms to mirror onto Laser Bridge to get your Moon Pearl. I did a non-required Aga to gain 2 additional hearts.
Sometimes, honestly, just going, you know what the seed wants of me is awful. I'm just gonna do something else.
I'm just
do
going
out
to
of
do
logic
something less
stuff.
awful. Yep. I'm going to go out of logic for a little while, and we'll see if it pays off.
And I mean, hey, if your opponent spent an extra 3 or 4 minutes just dying, attempting to do the thing the game wants, and honestly, kind of a wash at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't look, at least at the moment, like we're going to get one of those super low percent cold stairs, but that can change.
Yeah. And of course, if somebody else wants to dodge logic, you could just, with the glove, just take a kern jump over to East Dark World. Because that would also open up Catfish, and more importantly, open up Pod.
We're going to come to decision time for Rick here pretty soon. Going to see 2 more items in the front of Thieves, and then do you go to the back? You've got that big key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he does. I would assume with his HP, he might be thinking of setting up a Death Warp.
It does kind of feel that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I'm not 100% sure yet. Oh, there's another bottle, this time with red. Okay, yeah, he's Death Warp and he's leaving.
It looks like Quizbowl wants to go see the item on Spectacle Rock, but that's not gonna happen. Boulders say no.
Those cabbages are being real aggressive there, jeez. It's starting at Dark Chapel, surprisingly enough. I thought he'd go back up the mountain and just continue, but I don't know what his play is now. Maybe he's if he's going this way, he must be thinking of Thieves.
Yeah, this almost has to be Thieves. I do wonder if this is a thought process of, well, there aren't all that many checks up on the mountain anyway, and even if the seed wants me to do Aga, I don't have a Moon Pearl yet, and there's enough left in here that maybe it's just here.
Yeah, looking for Moon Pearl in the Light World, it's not great. And especially because you have to take that south route to Kakariko, and that red guard, man, that red guard really really likes to push you when you're bunny walking there.
Yeah, you can go West Side Breeze, but there are red guards that way too, and they're absolutely in favor of stabbing you with their spears just as much as they possibly can.
It's not great. And maybe another thing that pushed Quizbowl this way is just the fact that he did get the. Oh, Rick's not even going up to Spec Rock. Interesting. Quizbowl might be thinking that just with that red potion, that's enough of a safety net. Just go ahead and take on this early Thieves, back at Thieves. Which, I mean, it's a pendant, but the game really does seem to be pushing that like something's back here. Yeah, I don't disagree with the play.
Yeah, the question at this point is going to be, can he hold on to his hit points long enough to get there and make it something like a 7 or 8 heart fight?
Okay, Rick is gonna take the Lionel Bridge. Let's see. He does have the extra red if he really needs to. But ideally, you bomb yourself through. Okay, makes it past. Oh, and Quizbowl takes that unfortunate death in a honestly really bad location to take it in the deck. He's going right back in.
This does seem to be the hill that Quizbowl is going to choose to live or die on, and walking into Zazax, it seems more like dying than living at the moment.
Yeah, he does have the red, but understandably, he kind of wants to hold on to it.
It's
All
one
right.
thing to say, just stay on script in the blind fight. That's all you have to do, but by the same token, that requires you to stay on script in the blind fight, and sometimes the game just says, oh, one of those hits in phase 2 that you thought connected? Yeah, that didn't count.
That or you get a poke in, and then you let go of the poke just a little bit too early, and you get the spin in, and then suddenly everything just kind of falls apart very
And
quickly
suddenly
after
you
that.
are off script, yep. There are ways that off script happens. Oh, that spike was immobile, but Quizbowl found it anyway.
So Rick just decided to do the Thieves of Play as well. Neither player has looked inside a Spec Rock, and that is absolutely a possibility for progression.
That is a little baffling to me as well. We understand why Quizbowl didn't make it up there. The Cabbages said no, but Rick has just decided that's not an answer.
Talking a little earlier about, maybe just deciding to just take the out of logic Aga. At this point, might not be a terrible idea. You can't do much in Light World and Logic, but man, you could just like Bunny Revive and Hyrule Castle and just do Front of Escape, or you can do several things. Fall down the well, open a couple chests. Oh, sorry, Tafa. I misspoke. I don't mean out of. I did not mean out of logic. I probably said that on accident. However, I just meant just go ahead and take the Aga kill, because honestly, there is something to be said about it. Just sometimes might just be better to just take the Aga kill and go do something else, even though you don't have Boom Pearl.
And we had certainly been discussing the possibility of other out-of-logic plays earlier, and I mentioned the seed in which I did do an out-of-logic Aga, so I think we kind of got out-of-logic and Aga sequenced up in the brains there. But no, this would be a logical Aga play.
Okay, so there is an item on the big chest. Quizbowl did a quick pause, as map, as compass. So far, so good on script. Gets the red just in case things go wrong. Usually this final one is where things start to fall apart. There we go.
Used it, didn't need it, but you would better use it and then not need to have done so than to go the opposite direction and not fire that off on one heart and then discover, well, now I'm out of hit points.
Yeah, safeties exist for a reason.
They are, in fact, there to be used.
It's off the small queues in the front. That's honestly probably what pushed them to clear it, because it's absolutely in logic just go kill blind. But it looks like blind was not the answer.
Yeah, just 10 sticks on that boss. Not really a whole lot to write home about in the back of Thieves Town here.
Yeah, all we got in the back was $50 and some sticks. I sometimes do that because I play with either no beeps on or very slow beeps, and sometimes I'll just eat damage because I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a bunch of HP, I'm fine. And then realize, wait a second, I am absolutely not fine.
Why am I falling over?
Ill.
Why is the screen red? Oh no, not again.
So at this point, the answer is just that the spec rock item that both players missed.
Or bunny walking shenanigans in the light world, but that's what we're
Okay,
down
yeah,
to.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, it's one or the other.
And I can't say that I'm particularly surprised by the lack of kern jumps, but now both runners are down to that same set of logical checks.
Yeah, all three locations are light world for we just have most likely a light world moon pearl or light world item that just gives us the moon pearl. Might just be East Dark World access. And nothing in Spec Rock. So Aga it is.
Ah, classic inverted traps, here we are.
Aga is the answer. And I would assume both players would take it.
Both of them are back up on the mountain. Really, the only other option at this point would be to go ahead and perform that kern jump sequence break, and neither of them seem inclined to do it.
Yeah, which again, honestly, with how nice the Aga kill is, I don't blame him. You may as well just take it. Honestly. Kern jump is not exactly quick either. And plus, ideally, your East Dark World access either might be a hammer or something. In which case, that gives you potentially more to do depending on what items you get. Alright, now everyone's favorite. It's a nice break Aga climb. Honestly, not too much to say.
Yeah, nice, comfy, sub-NMG equipment levels Aga climb. Nothing could possibly go wrong here, am I right?
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Oh, Rick had made it all the way around that guard, and then he decided to hit him anyway and loses half a hit point for his trouble. Got one of the nicer RNG patterns there, and instead of just going with it, decided, nope, you know what, I need to hit this guy.
And that guy's a jerk. Probably deserved it. Honestly, also very nice that the guards have hearts in their drop pool when doing this, just for the little extra bit.
That is the reason that the guards are the vanilla hearts pool, because the developers kind of expected maybe people who are learning how to play the game may need those.
Quizbowl is be a little careful here. He's only got 2 hearts left. Make
Now
that 1
there's
heart.
1 heart left. There are 2 hearts under pots in this room, so as long as he decides that he wants to play it safe, this can be okay. There's one of them. The other one is on the other side of this little ring. There it is. Quizbowl going to take it pretty safe here and keep this sword charged and deal with the guards as they happen to come at him. And now just Aga doing Aga things.
You get to guess how many blue balls they're gonna get. Which so far seems to be yes. What, an Agaseed and an Ambrosia Rambler? Nah.
Never happens.
I forget what the exact odds are in Ambrosia. I know it's noticeably higher than...
It is gigantically large.
I want to say it's like over 50%, I think. But I'm not 100%.
That would not surprise me at all.
Garrison, mass checks out. And now we got a lawn walkover, Kakariko. Which you could potentially decide to just take a bunny revive in Hyrule Castle too. So that's another thing you could do. Because at this HP level, it's honestly not that bad.
Okay, both runners into the light world. Even with a couple of unfortunate encounters in Thieves Town, Quizbowl not all that far behind.
Oh, no, this is not too far. He's getting to the Kakariko, and he's a bit less than a minute behind, really. Alright, Sick Kid is... Well, Sick Kid has a mirror, which absolutely could be your progression.
Yeah, now you can mirror into the Mire area.
Yeah, that's also East Dark World access by just mirroring at Hyrule Castle.
You can turn in the Smith and the Purple Chest this way. That's another couple of available checks.
Yeah. Mirroring for the Smith with all these guards here is kind of awful. You know.
It can be ever so slightly challenging. I was going to say it could be an advantage of coming up from the south, but yeah, Quizbowl doesn't have that mirror yet, so not going to work that way.
Yeah, he's going to get it once he gets here to Sick Kid. Alright, Smith, are you the answer? You're in fact not the answer. Yeah, I would imagine it's gonna be probably both players picking up the purple chest, turning it in, and just going to desert with the mirror from my area. I imagine that's the play both are gonna make. Because, I mean, at this point, you're right here. You may as well do it.
It is kind of a progression that just leads you down in that direction. It's kind of tough to say no to that play at that point.
Realistically, you could just, take the Aga portal and go to East Dark World, but you already made this commitment, thinking, oh, I could have current jumped this. I may as well just make it work. I suppose that they're not doing the well mostly so they don't isolate the one check in the back. I mean, nothing's stopping you from doing the well and getting, 4 chests out of 5. And you could also use mirror to, like cross key things, just get some checks out of logic if you want with the mirror. But at this point, they just want their moon pearl. Not have to worry about it. Big key. Tahara, well, that's not it.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't change anything. That doesn't even begin helping. It has, that has a hard requirement of the hammer in inverted, so you're not going there. Not right now, anyway.
I just gotta be a little careful in the desert area because, yeah, you go to Mire. There's that murder dactyl there, looking to see if you can get a 2-0 clean sweep. There's a hammer.
Ah, okay.
Which they both isolated at Thieves' big chest that could absolutely be progression. That could be Moon Pearl in there, which would be absolutely disgusting if that was the case.
That would be hilariously terrible.
Now time for some East Dark World shenanigans. Maybe the Moon Pearl's just on Pyramid the whole time. And it is a piece of heart, and Rick will take it. Still on that early game of not quite enough HP. Especially when early Dark World bosses are on the table.
Yeah, when the game still seems to be expecting you to walk around Dark World with the low heart count or Light World in the bunny form, yeah. Give me my hit points.
And Rick making the catfish play here, which is a little surprising. I would have expected a pod play, which I think is exactly what Quizbowl is doing, I think. Or he's going to Pyramid first.
Alright, let's see the catfish. Maybe this has the answer.
Nope. Catfish does not have the goods, as usual.
Doesn't have the goods until it does.
Mm-hmm. It's always justified to skip catfish until it isn't.
That's true of a lot of checks, like, say, Thieves Town Big Chest.
And is that where Rick is going?
Certainly heading in the right way for it. I can't think of anything else that we've opened up over here.
And Tofal, I suppose it's true. I mean, I guess from my perspective, thinking of, I can just mimic pod, and I doubt I'm going to get the pod big key at this point. The bow isn't as big of a deal, but they're thinking from, if they can't mimic clip, then it is definitely more of a factor, because pretty sure both have used their... I think Quizbowl definitely uses red. I'm not sure if Rick used it. That's true. Hammer pegs are also in play with that hammer. You could just go back in the light world and mirror at hammer pegs. Fun.
More fun bunny walking shenanigans into a mirror back into the dark world, yep.
Yeah, don't we love a deep moon pearl inverted? But yeah, the Thieves play is a bit surprising, considering it's only one check that's super isolated. Granted, could also be Rick thinking, well, Quizbowl's probably never going to check this, and if this turns out to be an answer, it's hard to see when Quizbowl goes back, unless it's the Moon Pearl, in which case it's going to be forced there.
Especially if it isn't the Moon Pearl, it's much more likely something that you can put off for quite some time. Quizbowl still working on the Palace of Keys here.
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Alright, well, that's a thing.
That's that's a fire rod. That's green pendant skull. Oh my god, Moon Pearl could just be on Saha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the fire rod locks the Moon Pearl, Quizbowl will just be kind of forced into it in the near future because they're kind of running out of things to do. This, if it's not Moon Pearl, ooh, that's not good.
That's entry for Meyer, which doesn't help because the next entry for Meyer is either boots or a hook shot.
Yeah, actually, in inverted, can you have a Moon Pearl in Ped? Can you pull Ped as a bunny? I actually don't know.
I think the answer to that is yes.
So I've personally never thought about it. Okay, it absolutely can be. I mean, granted, we are a ways off being able to do TR of all things, but possible.
We're a little closer now that that fire rod's in the inventory, but still, you're gonna need an ice rod and a cane of Samaria at the very least.
And you would also need a bomb. No, you don't need bombos. If you had mitts, then
If you had mitts, you could get away without it. It does not appear that Quizbowl has turned up the answer to the Light World non-bunny question. There, just that Quake medallion to show for the time spent in Palace of Darkness.
I'm curious, where is he walking out to then? I'm not sure where else he could really go if he, unless he's walking. He might just be walking to Catfish then.
May just be walking to Catfish.
Yeah. Eastern Big. Oh yeah, Eastern Big was back there, which can't be for Moon Pearl. I mean, it's good that it's convenient for him that it's back there, but it's not gonna give any progression yet. Well, on the plus side, I'm sure he's happy that he's taken this this moth fight with 7 hearts and blue mail.
7 hearts, blue mail, a hammer if he wants it, although it seems the answer to that is no, at least for the moment. I would 100% be hammering this moth instead of fighter sword slashing it, but that's me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I would be doing the same.
There's the hammer.
Just gotta smash it. Mitts.
Oh dear.
Okay, oh. That potentially puts TR in play.
Yeah, no, we could have a Moon Pearl on Laser Bridge now. And this is one of those seeds where you don't feel terrible if you get to the Moon Pearl late, because with the way this has all been laid out, everyone's going to get to the Moon Pearl late.
Yeah.
As
I think
long
it's
as you're not taking unnecessary deaths in the meantime. Quizbowl with those couple of deaths in Thieves probably feels a little worse than Rick does, but
Yeah.
all of the shenanigans required from this seed so far just say, no, you know what? Nobody, unless they absolutely clown route their behinds off, is getting to that Moon Pearl any sooner.
Oh, so Rick is gonna push the green pendant first. And honestly, he's also thinking of pod probably as well. I don't blame him for this play.
Yeah, turn green
At
pendant
this
in,
point,
you're over.
those mitts are screaming TR for Moon Pearl. It could just be here. Yeah, this is definitely green pendant turn in. Green pendant turn in, and more than likely using it as an excuse to just mirror and go into pod because you're right here. Pod's got the density. Green pendant is not the answer. It was in fact the mitts. And Quizbowl going for the hammer pegs. Going here first before so at this point he's gonna be forced into the C's big. Which is gonna feel awful no matter what. And another big key. What's this for? Skull Woods. I actually wasn't counting the items. I'm not sure if there is anything in this Skull Woods big, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that can have an answer or not. I expect Quizbowl's going to be there very shortly, however, so at that point we'll find out, because the runner probably keeping better track than the commentators are.
Yeah. Oh, is that the third Skull Woods small? Yeah, I'm not surprised, yeah. That's just the key logic to tell you to go kill him off. At the end of the day, Quizbowl isn't going to be forced to leave something critical in the Thieves Big for the whole seed. He's going to get it. He's going to be behind Rick, but definitely not a large enough gap to call anything at all.
Nice quick potion camera unlock there in pod from AdirondackRick. We'll go ahead and see the bowlock side because, well, why wouldn't you if you've got the spare red potion hanging around?
Well, so he does have the hammer coming in, so... Or, no, wait, no. Quiz had the hammer as well, never mind. Forever, I thought Quiz didn't have hammer in here. Yeah, so... He's gonna get his answer that nothing's really in here, and he's gonna be forced to that oh-so-fun TR. TR or Floating Island. Quizbowl, where you got? Oh, you're getting a potion for Moth. Got it.
That leaves the remaining funds a little low, but the nice thing about Inverted is the archery game is ready and willing to accept customers.
Yeah, plus at this point, the only thing your money could go for is Zora. And once you get Moon Pearl, you have a whole lot of things open to you in this game that aren't Zora and probably isn't quite on your mind for a little while.
It's a nice eventual route terminus, but it takes a while to get there. And oh no, Quizbowl and then that sack of plantains just having an argument right in the middle of the forest.
He's trying to just get the quick camera kill, and wasn't working out. I mean, granted, he's not that far from Skullwoods. It's not the end of the world. Unfortunate, but absolutely, you can absolutely get away with it. Okay, Quizbowl not leaving anything behind that pod big chest. That also would have been an unfortunate location to leave behind. Here we go. This is going to be East Light Mountain, which at this point can only really be logically Floating Island or TR. At this point, it has to be Laser Bridge. Wait, no, the middle of TR can be something. He could expect you to mirror through the left door. Probably Laser Bridge. Could be Chain Chomps as well.
Wow, Quizbowl only dust dodged that Wallmaster.
This only reminded me of back in League of taking like 45 minutes to get over 45 minutes to get a Moon Pearl because Aga was so late in the seed that eventually we walked over to Bottle Merch. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, here's your bow to go kill Helma. It's like, oh, wait a second.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, crap, this is what you wanted us to do. Is TR. Rick's just gonna pick up this 50, put himself in the Zora money territory, so he doesn't have to really think about it too hard. Deadrock's not playing nice as usual. Literal worst Zelda enemy. Oh my god. This Deadrock, please.
This Deadrock is Ganon's real MVP.
Ganon's strongest warrior. And there's the Moon Pearl. At almost 47 minutes, Moon Pearl and Laser Bridge, baby!
Ah, an inverted classic.
It's a Rambler. I thought the Burna Cape Mirror Shield, I thought that was only for cross keys, as the logic is older on that branch.
You are correct. Modern non-entrance rando says just do walking or boots, laser skips or something. It doesn't care. It'll put anything there at once.
Yeah, the current logic, it expects you to do laser skips for non-entrance.
So now Rick has basically the entire world open to him. You've got the hammer, you've got the mitts, you've got the moon pearl. Have fun going everywhere and finding several big keys and flippers and a hook shot and a bow and yeah. Go find things. Lots of things.
Speaking of flippers, there's one of them. Do in fact need those. We do have the Hera big key, so Rick can just clear East Mountain and head on over to Hera. Just go ahead and knock that out. Crystal. Don't have a hook shot, which is a bit of a shame, but also getting back to Hera really sucks. I mean, honestly, East Light Mountain in inverted in general really sucks.
Yeah, no, Light Mountain in inverted is just terrible.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not well versed in key logic and inverted TRs. I'm not sure like what the scenario is to put like lava chest in logic and inverted, I'll be honest. But do have 2 more chests available in TR that could have something. Rick might go there, heading after going in there before Spiral. Or does Rick just skip Spiral? Because yeah, he's definitely no, he's not skipping Spiral. Is it still 4 tiers? I thought as much, but I don't really know the logic of inverted like terribly well. Oh, again, I'm sure he's glad he did not skip Spiral. The scene.
Well, now he
That
can
hook is
reclimb the
needed.
mountain again and mirror and check Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, and that also opens up a full clearable, except for Big Chest Swamp Palace. Yay!
Not the worst thing in the world. It's also a red crystal. Provided you find a bow here at some point in the near future, you can get back over to Pod and have Pyramid Fairy access.
Yeah, if you get a bow, it's also Eastern done too. You know the big key from Pod. So actually, you know what? We're actually not far from go mode. We need a bow, and we need Samaria and a sword and 2 big keys, and a book. So maybe a little further from go mode, but I thought it at first glance. Forgot the keys part.
Yeah, item go seems to be relatively easy to come by. Oh, we're also going to need a book to get into desert.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Swamp is definitely calling, but you're already on the mountain with and you have the keys to do Hera. You may as well just do Hera. ALttPR is a pendant according to the tracker, so. The chances of Ped being alive are pretty small at this point. It'd be either a bow or a big key or book, I guess. Book on Ped is also awful. I just never really consider it. Curlville, the main difference, Quizbowl took a few deaths in Thieves, and Rick made the early gamble of going back for the Thieves' big chest, which had the fire up, which then gave you mitts. Granted, you have to do it to get Moonpearl this seed. It's just Quizbowl got there slower with everything else he got. Or everything else he did first. And that in turn, Rick could route in a little bit more efficiently at this point.
Yeah, Rick also had a cleaner laser bridge. Quizbowl is certainly trying to body through this on sheer hit points, and it's not working out all that well.
Yeah. Looks like Hera Basement has an item. Rick is going back in for it, which normally I would say maybe not amazing, but I would also say that in Inverted, getting back to Hera Basement is awful.
Getting
Literally
back
one
to
of the
Hera at
worst
all.
things. This is one of the worst things, so you know, I don't blame him for taking it. It just leaves Ether Tablet, which is also a terrible check to get back to. Now, Quizbowl, done with the back of TRs, got his Moonpearl in hand, is immediately going to start digging Light Mountain. Get the same things that Rick got unless he decides to skip something. Basement, nothing. But you got at least some sense of closure, I guess.
Some peace of mind.
Now Rick opting to just knock out, well, at the very least Ungold, but I assume he's probably doing front of escape with this, I think. Art Sun Prize that I'm sure they would have loved to have the ability to get earlier.
That would have made life easier, but the hookshot locked away behind that Moonpearl meant, well...
Yeah, and we've
I
full cleared
guess
everything,
you
so
could've-
there's no boomerang.
There were circumstances in which you could have eventually bunny walked that, but yeah, not highly recommended. Hyrule Castle not immediately coming up with the goods, but still a couple of checks here in the front.
Yeah, I can imagine Rick will probably go for Dark Cross, hoping it's a key, just so you can walk to the back and route in North Light World a little bit easier.
It does make the entire trip a little kinder and gentler if you can just swim all the way through the underside of the castle sewers there, come out in the sanctuary, and then just perform kind of a normal Light World loop.
Mm-hmm.
But then again,
he does want to get back to Kakariko because there's still a whole lot of goods in Kakariko that have yet to be opened, despite making several trips there at this point. Haven't had Moonpearl for any of them.
Still 2 5-item locations left there. You have to think something's gonna be there, but within 10 checks, I'm gonna get at least one thing that I'm looking for, right?
Right, hopefully.
Quizbowl, having not yet done Spiral Cave, is going to go the old-fashioned way through Tower of Hera.
Yeah, he's clearing the mountain in, honestly, a more ideal way. It's a bit unfortunate that the one item that's in Spiral Cave is the one item that actually would have made this trip a lot faster. But normally the way he is doing it is the better way. Also, a Samaria in Dark Cross. It's one of our go mode items. We 2 items off from item go. Not potentially 3. Logically could be 3 items, because Desert might just be logically boost locked. But, I mean, who cares about Desert logic? And then you see big GT big on GT Torch and Panic.
No, we still don't have Desert Big, so that could also potentially be a boots locked item for us. Kind of tough to say, but without a book, we don't get to go no.
Yes, Swamp to Cac makes sense here, because he's still got to grab like K40, like he didn't walk into K45, and Swamp honestly doesn't really get much faster. Like a Master Sword definitely makes it faster, but Fighter Sword's not that much slower than Master Sword for Argus, honestly. Actually, he might just be doing Swamp to he could just be doing it for Swamp to Bleak Hylia checks. Go and end it at Zora, and then hit Cac in a separate trip. He'll be thinking that. Quizbowl also opting to do the basement. She knows nothing.
And it's all fun and games until you get to those Kakariko Village checks and you find out the boots were there and you could have had them 20-30 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's always fun seeing them.
Quizbowl making that same choice, knowing there's an item in Hera Basement, going to go fish it out now because coming back is slow.
Yeah, the only thing you would probably do in that scenario is leave it for book, potentially for either, but I'm also looking that you might just have a book go mode with the Desert Crystal and inverted. Who knows? But yeah, now with that, we have the Samaria, which opens up some more checks in TR to do. We could go backwards to the front of TR to get some additional checks if we really wanted to. Also means once we get the big key, we can go fight Trinix and pull Pet if we wanted to.
Oh baby. Because this seed hasn't had any jokes at all through the first hour and 2 minutes.
Oh, not at all. There's a map in the front, which means there's something on the left side. The swamp. And yeah, he's just gonna go get it out now.
Still missing at least a couple items, a couple of big keys. Potentially also those boots weighing on the mind. Yeah, I can see just going ahead and making the dive into left side swamp here.
Yeah, you have plenty of items left for go mode still. It becomes a question once you're in like go -1, maybe go -2, because when you start going like, well, you know, it's probably not over there. I can probably be safe, or just some people just like to just gamble it anyway.
Left side swamp's kind of slow until it isn't.
Yeah. Quizbowl hitting the front escape, if he goes to Dark Cross from here, which I imagine he would, then he's going to get that Samaria and is going to be in the same position as Rick, just some minutes behind.
At this point, although he probably doesn't know it, although every rando runner always feels behind, that's kind of a rule for being a rando runner. You have to wonder when Quizbowl starts thinking, well, I need to start making some tactical skips here to shorten the time it takes me to finish this seed.
Yeah, I'd imagine for Quizbowl's case, he's probably has those Thieves deaths weighing on his mind, thinking, well, I took several deaths in Thieves, and it's possible Rick came to Thieves later with the hammer, potentially, and in which case I would put him just several minutes ahead. And then the thoughts of, okay, well, I need to start skipping something, because this is the need to make up that time loss, at the very least from the deaths. Plus Laser Bridge as well. In Malchior, we shouldn't need Ice Rod, but it is Ambrosia rules, so there is an item on Trinex. And he also does lock the infamous P-word check.
Quizbowl is heading for that Samaria. Now, one thing that I guess we have not really mentioned in a little while that maybe we should, we've known for some time now that Meyer's entry medallion is Quake, and I mentioned at the time, well, we can't do anything there because we don't have a hookshot or boots. And once the runners acquired that hookshot, that changed. Now, we still don't have a big key for that dungeon, but it wouldn't be the first time in the past week and a half or so that I've seen a French Vanilla Meyer big key.
Yeah, at this point, especially because the seed just forced you to isolate Meyer, honestly. You had to go to Meyer, you just get your hammer. I'd imagine I could see people holding off a little bit, being like, okay, well, hopefully I get like a book for Desert, or maybe I just get the big key. I just don't have to worry about it. Because going back for just an unclearable Meyer on its own is not the most enticing thing, especially when, you know, you still got Kakariko, you still got South Shore, you have Zora. Quizbowl's case, he has the entirety of Swamp Palace on the table. There's a lot still before you can really start thinking on Meyer. This will be fine.
Oh, look, a sword and swamp. That never happens.
Oh. Never. That's one item off our go mode checklist. We do need a Master Sword. Quizbowl opting to just do Mini Boldorm first, and I'm not sure if he's just gonna continue through South Shore and do Swamp after. Maybe thinking South Shore first to Zora, then loop Swamp to either Kakariko or potentially Desert Meyer, depending on what I pick up.
I'm not sure. The game did go to all the trouble of giving our runners the flippers. Maybe you just choose to follow those for a little while.
Realistically, even just go ahead and we could clear ice and leave the big chest behind, which is at this point probably scared about leaving a big chest behind after what happened in Thieves. But
oh, surely that
is...
wouldn't happen more than once in a seed, right?
But Ice Palace, we got a whole lot of checks and logic there. Those flippers put all those checks and logic.
And it's not as though it's full key sanity. It could just be a small key or a dungeon item in that chest.
A Quizbowl opting to stop at Ice Rug Cave and not continuing the route. He doesn't have Zora money. That would also explain why he didn't continue the route. I guess he could have farmed for it. Oh, is Rick making the Ice Palace play? Yeah. This is Ice Palace on Rick's side.
Yeah,
Risking...
it's here. Rick's here. Well, let's see it.
Risking the big chest, but it could potentially be okay, or it could be like Thieves Big all over again.
And it does appear that Quizbowl is heading for the village, so those 5-item locations here, Blind's old hideout, the well, I think we're going to get those nowish.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Rick didn't go back for Keck at some point. Especially because you have mitts, so getting back here is not terrible. But he also, you know, he's got a clearable crystal dungeon.
Yeah, he went to a clearable crystal dungeon and then hit a 5-item location and then went and is now in another clearable crystal dungeon. While Quizbowl pulls Bombos, which gets you into the front of TR, which probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but more importantly, that Misery Mire Big Key. And a bow.
And a bow.
Okay, that bow is really interesting.
Yeah, Quizbowl could just go and clear out Pod and Easter. Actually, wait, where was the Pod Big that
I
Rick
was
got?
about to ask you the same thing. Where did that Pod Big come from? Was that in Hookshot Cave?
I'm gonna do a very quick Pod scrub on Rick's stream real quick to find it.
Our tracker says it was vanilla. Okay, video game, you win.
Surprised Quizbowl didn't open it?
Because Quizbowl didn't have a potion to potion camera unlock and did not mimic clip, so with short keys. So that's super dangerous.
Yeah, he's not exactly as tempted. Now, granted, he might be tempted to go back in purely because he's gonna go to Eastern. He's gonna get his, what was it? He's gonna get Eastern and get his, well, he can clear it. And then, with the mirror, he can just go, okay, well, I can just mirror back into Pod, get right side, check the big chest real quick. And oh, hey, look. There it is. He at least knows there's something left there. So at this point, he knows he has 3 items left there because big chest is an item.
Ah, and that potentially dangerous big key to Ice Palace just appeared on Quizbowl's side. If there's an item in that, Rick could be leaving something behind here.
So far in Ice, we've only found 1 small key. And Rick is going for... Well, actually, we'll know after this check. Really. I'm not sure if he picked up the map or compass. Oh, no, he already did Ice Tea. Never mind. He was just grabbing the extra small key to... Oh, he's opening the right side. I thought he was going over there to go to Ice Tea. Yeah, no, he's just you're getting his extra magic. Because, yeah, he only has Fire Rod. Yeah, so if Rick already did Ice Tea, then that means, yeah, that, the ice big chest is just a small key. But Rick is fine. It's logically locked. Sure. That's the first time we've seen that Bari actually bully someone for going straight over here. Normally it's A-okay, just keep doing that. Some nice multi-hits with the hammer.
Yeah, good early portion of the fight, and swapping over to the sword spins here, just gonna kind of play it safe.
Yeah, this fight can get out of control pretty quick. all it takes is a badly timed ice block and a puff pattern to things to go awry. But it gets it done just fine.
I see Quizbowl walking away from Lumberjack. I did not see what was there.
I didn't quite catch it either, mostly because I was watching the Rick fight. Check. Bod Scrub, what do you say? It was nothing. Okay.
Quizbowl in the back of the castle, there's the map, there's the small key, and there's a bottle with a bee in it, so there is an item in the sanctuary chest. Gotta go rob the poor box, apparently. Okay, now that we've robbed the poor box, we can check the sanctuary chests.
Those boots are very nice. And makes me wonder, when is Rick going to get back to those? I'd imagine he'd want to do Kakariko to North Light World sooner rather than later, but... Because at this point, he can't clear any crystals. He can definitely dip several, but he can't clear anything yet.
I think the question might become, once he goes to Kakariko Village, gets the bow there, gets the Meyer Big Key, when do you say, I want to go do the Northern Light World checks, when instead you have 3 clearable crystal dungeons suddenly staring you in the face?
So far, it looks like the boots don't lock anything. Granted, they are boots. It's a nice free time save. Okay, this is Zora to the Cac... Okay, yeah. Or... Well, let's see. Is he doing Zora or is he doing Cac Portal? I would assume Zora. But...
Yeah,
Cac Portal.
I would think Zora and then just pop the save and quit, because you can trot your happy feet right over there with your mitts and get into the portal at 3 relatively quickly.
Ideally, the route he would take would be to just take the 4 portal and take the Witch's Hut Whirlpool and just clear North Light World into Kakariko. To just cleanly sweep everything together. But... Which then would give him boots before Cac, and that would be... ideal.
Ah, well, there's that required book.
So, what do we need for Goma? We just need Desert Big.
Desert Big.
That's it?
Yeah, between the runners.
Yeah. Desert Big for no mode. Quizbowl actually taking the intended route up to Zora. The Zora area... Well, actually, what was on the ledge? Rick's going for it, so it's something.
No, he's just walking
Oh
out.
no, he's...
That's a choice. I don't like that choice, but it is a choice you can make.
Yeah, walking out's usually not a good call. You had to be like specifically you were going to Ice Palace from here or something. Then it's like, okay, well, you can justify it. That's really about it. Train the shroom. Yeah, I guess, yeah, this is shroom. Which, honestly, this is actually going to work out for Rick. Because he's going to turn in the shroom, he's going to be next to North Light World. He's going to go to North Light World and get his boots. Before he heads into CAC. This is with how long that walk is. I think you are better off just taking the 4 portal over there. But it is gonna work out regardless.
Yeah, no, if you wanted to do this way, you still, I think, just save and quit from Zora and take the 4 portal. Walking out of the Zora area, especially walking, not even getting to dash, is incredibly time-consuming.
Yeah, so Rick will absolutely get his boots before CAC, which will be good news for him. Quizbowl heading to Eastern, because he can clear it. Plus, we also get to see Saha's hut, because last time we were here, the runners did not have Moon Pearl. Get a nice half magic out of it.
Yeah, half magic's convenient enough.
I forgot about the Agamir, but I'd also imagine that you could, honestly, at that point, walking from Castle wouldn't even be slower. It might still be faster. I don't know.
Yep, Quizbowl making the pretty obvious play from his point of view. I've got this clearable crystal dungeon right next to this check that I just did. Why don't I go clear it? The real interesting bit for us is going to be, does he mirror after this and go ahead and do those checks that he can do in Pod, only to find a vanilla big key in it?
I would imagine he does, but obviously, who knows? I mean, the runners know, because 10 minutes in the future, there's an answer to that question. We don't know the answer to that question, or they're 10 minutes in the future, so they have the answer. I have no idea yet. So the nice thing about Ambrosia and Big Key Shuffle in Eastern Palace is just the fact that you know if you actually have to go to that big chest or not, because you're gonna figure out what's left pretty quick from the front.
Do you already have dungeon items? No? Well, okay, go to the boss then.
Yeah, at this point, Rick is about the best location he could be to look at Ped. He's gonna be clearing Lost Woods, and he can just run over and check it real quick, and then head down to Kakariko and clear Kak. Honestly, at this point, with Desert Big no mode for us, and for him, he's still missing Meyer Big, he's still missing that bow. Yeah, he's doing Lost Wood. He's doing Thieves' Hideout first, so yeah, he's looking for Ped after this.
Just 300 rupees on the Armos Knights there, but it is another crystal that Quizbowl gets to call his own.
Yeah, it's not like Eastern gets much faster than this. You gotta do it anyway, may as well. Meyer Big was either in Kakariko or, it wasn't Hammer Pack, it was just in Kak.
Yeah, it was right on top of the bow. Yeah, that was powder on Ped.
Oh boy.
Which we know doesn't do anything because Quizbowl fake powdered, but it is something that Rick is not going to have the opportunity to choose. If he wants to make that check, he needs to kill Trinex.
Yeah, I would imagine after this, Rick would be doing the same thing as Quizbowl, just head over to Eastern Pod, go do it, go clear it.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. Let's go to the crystal dungeons that you can full clear rather than the crystal dungeons that maybe you can't. And
Well,
at this point,
you
after he
could...
picks up the bow and the mire big, then he'll be in that position where, well, I can clear mire, but I can't necessarily clear desert, so let me go to the 2 first and hope that I pick up the thing that I need for that 1.
Mm-hmm. Plus, at this point, he could also start thinking about Pyramid Fairy as well. Not too much to see for now. We're gonna see what Helma has, because that's gonna be new info.
Yeah, Helma and the big chest.
Rick already did the big chest, because he had the big key going back there.
Oh, yeah, he did.
It was nothing. It was just 3 bombs, I think. It was nothing.
Well, that's boring. I was half expecting a tactical mirror there.
Cycling through items like, no, the bow does not break a wall. The hookshot does not break a wall. Maybe the meter breaks the wall. There's Rick's logic. Rick is now officially in logic. Needed that big key for it.
At 1 hour and 26 minutes, AdirondackRick returns to logic. Imagine.
Actually, did either player check race game? I don't even remember.
Seems like an interesting skip to make, but okay, yeah.
I was about to say, wait, Rick, no, you didn't check K45. Just kind of head over and just do exactly what Quizbowl's doing. And Quizbowl from here, I would imagine Quizbowl would probably start retreading similar ground that Rick did. Go to ice, go to swamp. You can clear both. Just get your dungeons done. Might find go mode in there.
Okay, Helmasaur King with new information, hopefully. But it's probably just bombs, right? Just bombs? Piece of heart, same difference.
Yeah, it's about the same thing at this point. You have plenty of health, you have red mail. It's basically the same thing as a bomb pack.
seems unsurprisingly that you were in fact correct about Quizbowl's next move. This almost assuredly is a play into Swamp Palace.
Oh yeah, it definitely has to be. The question is, will he just go straight to ice after this? Or will he go, okay, well, I'm pretty close to Meyer, and I can beat Meyer. I could just go over and do Meyer first. Because getting back to ice in inverted is honestly pretty fast.
It is, and I think the question there becomes kind of the same question that Rick has facing him with I can go over and I can do Meyer basically whenever I want now, but I'm still short that Desert Palace big key.
Oh yeah, no. Definitely going to ice is I can full clear ice. Meyer is you can full clear Meyer, but
But then do you have to
can't-
double dip the area to clear Desert Palace if the Desert Palace big key isn't over there somewhere?
Mhm.
And at this point, the unfortunate circumstance may be that what you're looking for is back in Pendant TR somewhere.
Yeah, we can logically get anywhere in the dungeon, just in case the front was locked out by key logic reasons.
Rick, I think a little early on that one bow shot, and so only got one into the Red Igor the first time.
Yeah, true. Quizbowl could also just go straight to. He could deal with shovel bombos, and he also has he has pyramid right after swamp that he could just immediately run up and turn in.
It's a reasonable kind of check. That also the situation where you think, well, I just found that map. Am I skipping left side or not?
The answer is no.
The answer to that is an immediate no.
I'm curious if he's gonna go straight to ice, or if he's just gonna opt, or if he'll opt to say, do like shovel, pyramid, fairy, and then use that to save quit and just go to ice after. Because, I mean, you can just end your route there, save quit, and run to ice, and it's not that slow. It's pretty quick.
At this point, I think maybe it's just get into that mindset of I'm clearing crystal dungeons and I'm going to start doing other overworld things if and only if I still don't have my Desert Palace big key by the time I get done with them.
Which is completely reasonable to do.
Of course, it's rando. The answer could absolutely just be Desert Palace big key and Pyramid Fairy, and by rushing after those crystal dungeons, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for an extra walk over to the Mire Desert area. That's the way the game rolls sometimes.
Yep. Hey, Rick made a gamble. Yeah, these big is the answer, not the entirety of the East Arc world that just opened up. Oh, hey, look, these big is absolutely the answer. Rando do that sometimes.
Okay, so we've got both the bow dungeons down for Rick. Now the choices can begin. Do you check a little more overworld and hope to find that Desert Palace big key first? Or is there a play to the Mire Desert area in the very near to immediate future for AdirondackRick?
On the plus side for desert, you're also thinking of the fact that Checkerboard Cave and Agena have not been done yet. There's a little bit more hanging on over there. Digging the south portal, but can still go a number of places from here. This is shovel first. Yeah, it's a little out of the way, and there's really no good way of routing in the shovel check at this point.
Yeah, there's not. Even in non-inverted, this is just a check where if you don't happen to have that shovel while you're on the loop at the time, getting this worked in is just inconvenient.
The Mire or Pyramid? The answer is Pyramid. But yeah, especially inverted, Pyramid is a fairly quick check to do. Krellbell, I don't recall there being any. I haven't heard about anybody doing like a Tomb Raider play that paid off. I mean, granted, it really is only one check in the game, so the chances of it being the answer is kind of slim, but possible.
10 sticks and a piece of heart. And this is the kind of time where you would love to just pull your flute out and flute to 6, but, well, you don't have it, so have fun running.
Yeah. Flute not being hard required for anything inverted. It doesn't really show up very often. Sometimes it's required to get to the Mire area. Rarely it's required to get to the mountain.
Looks like Quizbowl may already be ready for that Pyramid Fairy check as well. Had the opportunity to turn left and go to Mire Desert, had the opportunity to turn right and go to Ice, but nope, you were correct once again, Bread. This is going to be Pyramid Fairy, and unfortunately for Quizbowl, we've seen this from AdirondackRick, and it is not the answer. Bombo's tablet, go home, you're drunk.
Sauron coin. And the coin that doesn't even do anything in the seed. I guess it's slightly nice for killing Stalfos and GT, and that's really about it.
You don't have to be all that finicky precise with the orange bomb.
Yeah, no, it's you just kind of put it sort of near the door, and it's good.
Ah, behold, the key under the doormat.
That is officially go mode for AdirondackRick.
1 hour, 38 minutes, and change. AdirondackRick, the first of our 2 runners in go mode.
Oh, Rick, you gotta read the read the tablet.
I wonder if he was considering doing Mire first and then decided, nah, you know what? Maybe not.
If you're gonna mirror from Mire, do it right out here. You pass the door, and it puts you right in front of the thing.
Do mire, do desert, save and quit to the top of the castle, go in, go fish around for big key in Ganon's tower. Yeah, we still got a little ways to go here.
Yeah, hope you find a sword or silvers along the way. Because right now we're sitting on Master Sword Silverless, which is always fun. Everybody's favorite activity.
At least you've got half magic and some bottles. It could be worse.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not bad by any means. A bit
Just
annoying.
Master Sword TDM Ganon, that's all. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do the moonwalk through that. That was actually kind of entertaining. Good job, Quizbowl.
No chance for some spooky action today, because no flute. Just gotta...
Well, you could have gone for AD Spooky and thrown a Samaria block into the pit before you went down the stairs, but that only really covers the one room right here.
That's the thing you can do.
That's the thing you can do.
Oh, maybe not.
I think Rick was hoping for something a little better than bombs there, but those little jellies are in the same price pack as the Stalcos, the Baris, and the Zazaks, and that pack for this game is the bomb pool.
A little bit of bomb action on the Viddy here. Soften them up a little bit. Or you start going for some Master Sword swings, and Rick, you're a little careful.
Now we've got a blue. Do we want to burn a blue? Then we're gonna burn a blue. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I felt like he had to. He was an Oko. And now at this point, he can just run in and start spinning. I also could just use the bow for the rest of it. There's only 2 little eyeballs left.
Quizbowl with the cold stare fight here has that half magic and the fire rod, not really having to go to the backup safety strat so much that we saw from AdirondackRick earlier.
I'm not here. He can blast it open and go about his day. If Quizbowl heads straight to the mire area from here, which honestly wouldn't even be that bad of an idea from his mind, he could be pretty close behind Rick, potentially.
Yeah, he would essentially be the traversal time and a go mode mire behind Rick. That's not terrible, but it looks like he's going to get back into the light world here, and I don't know, this puts you pretty close to picking up that big orange bomb, and maybe we're also going to check Hobo while we're kind of hanging out in the general area.
Yeah, I suppose just go to Hobo, save quit.
Rick stopping off and making that sight check says, no, a heart's not worth my time. I was really hoping for a sword or silver arrows video game, and that was not meant to be.
Oh yeah, no, at this point, you definitely just check. If something's literally on your path, you may as well check it. Because the silvers or tempered saves you several minutes on that cannon fight. It is worth that time investment.
And tempered probably saves you even more than that, because it's not just a comfort level with the climb, it's when you're only on Master Sword, so many things there don't just die to one shot.
Yeah, you gotta spend 2 hits on a couple things and get a little wonky real fast. Okay, this is Quizbowl doing shovel, it looks like. Yeah, he's doing shovel, which means honestly he's probably gonna do Bombos in the desert area after this. He won't be too far behind in go mode terms.
And now, how to eat fried worms.
Calamari worms. Hey, he's checking the race game that I hour 45-minute race game check.
That's a thing you can do.
And now that I had a really good opportunity to route it, I'm assuming he just did his CAC trip, got a lot of things out of it. I'm kind of forgotten. He's like, oh wait, I can just do Eastern and do Pod and do Meyer. I forgot like the one check down the race game was a thing. Anyway, yeah, GT guessing game time. People are already putting numbers in. Gotta find that big key.
Well, it's not a blue rupee, and it's not 3 bombs, so over 2. There's the Drunken Bombos tablet again, just in case anyone missed it the first time.
Hey, those boots are logically required.
Yeah, we got a little small key there on the GT torch, yeah. Yeah, 50, another small key. Looks like we're... well, maybe we're not, because there's the big key to this dungeon, so I'm expecting the mirror is going to come out, and Rick says, no moss.
That was number 6. Yep, this is gonna be Quizbowl finding his desert big and putting himself into go mode. And now all Rick has to do is execute. He will be the victor, and I believe that makes it so he advances.
That would move AdirondackRick to 5-1, and I believe give him the overall victory in this group.
Rick does have an extra green in his bottles, so he can't afford to just blow through this climb with a fire rod. As you do have lamp and fire rod with half magic, so Master Silverless, the magic's not going to be the issue. I mean, you can't even burn invincibility on the first phase. You don't even have any invincibility. Can't even burn magic there.
Yeah, your only form of invincibility for that phase is going to be the hookshot, and not everybody is all that conversant with the hookshot strats. They are nice to know, I do recommend them, but you will see a lot of runners who are not really well versed in that.
Maybe Fairy Killer out, considering that you can't, there is no invincibility potions to, or invincibility items to actually burn magic on Ganon. The only magic you're going to use is for the final phase, which is just going to be, Rick has to be a little careful here. He does have a fairy, but, don't quite want to burn it here.
Yeah, and already burned that green potion and down nearly half the bar already. Now, does finally have these worms down, and there is a small decanter here if he wants it, which he does. There is a heart here, and he wants that too. And this should be enough to get through to where the magic refill is.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. And, I mean, there's the full magic there too. But with half magic, yeah, it's absolutely enough. Also, there's the Sun Prize.
That almost got super dangerous. Rick almost got 1.0'd there. Could have fallen into that pit and then been stabbed by the guard again.
Just gotta play it a little careful, you know. Treat your hearts with respect. Hope you get a refill and suggest.
That mini Helma trying to do the job that all the other guardians of this tower have been unable to do, and that's stop AdirondackRick.
And no powder, because
that's on Ped.
3.5 hearts plus a fairy and a bottle. And if Rick really wants, he could take the time to go grab that fairy in the bonk tree. This Moldorm is really,
I'm
really
not
trying
sure
to
if
give him
he...
the business right now.
In fact, I'm pretty sure he did not check what the refill was at Pyramid Fairy, but having opened up Pyramid Fairy with the orange bomb, that's another check that you could make really quick to see if you can get some kind of a nice refill. Speaking of nice refills, very timely piece of heart refill there for Rick. The ultimate chest of the game, paying out in spades.
That is the heart refill you want.
You would
Absolute
almost think this was
clutch.
spoiler. He played it that way, right? He read the log and he played it that way.
Planned it so you'd have 3 pieces of hearts climbing up, knowing there's a final one just for the final refill. Yeah, just perfect play. I get to see how good are rabbits at math. That's like a passing grade. It's like 4 cycles?
Quizbowl is going to be a little low on sticks here coming out of this Vitreous fight, but does get the job done.
I'll follow you aren't wrong. Yeah, so Rick's got a fairy, he's got half magic. He's just got to get through this first phase, which is the hardest part, honestly. Final phase isn't necessarily super difficult, as it's more just long and tedious.
That is what you say about the entirety of the Master Sword Silverless fight. It's not difficult, it's just long and tedious. I feel like a lot of newer runners get themselves into trouble here thinking, I want this fight to be over quickly, and they try and press and make things happen when the real answer, more often than not, is just take your time, don't keep bodying fire bats, and get on through it.
Yeah, like when Ganon's not in a good position when you're in Master Sword Silverless, you get like the one or like you can get 2 hits in reliably and safely. It's like you could go for 2 or 3 if you're not quite comfortable, and just just play it slow. Get your hits in. Wait at the other end. Just play it patiently, because dying on Master Sword Silverless is infinitely worse than taking it a little slow in some of the phases. Because getting through those phases takes quite a while.
Did you
PR
find
has
the
solos.
arrows in Turtle Rock?
Ah, so that's why we got the bombos.
Alright, Rick, after a couple of lamp doubles, is going to swap over to the fire rod here as Quizbowl begins the climb. In the grand scheme of things, not going to be all that far behind. Master Sword Phase 4 is going to take Rick a little while yet.
Now, so Malchior, he is hitting. It's something to do with, because usually a lot of restreams are at 30 FPS. So and because of it's every other frame, the frames that you aren't seeing are the ones that on Rick's side it would show perfectly normal. So it's usually what you see on like restreams of this game. You also might see the same thing if you ever watch Super Metroid. If you watch anything Super Metroid related and you watch Samus on an elevator, it'll do the same thing. It's just capturing and how these games are.
Well, there it is. 24 spins to win. AdirondackRick, that bunny, holding up the Master Sword, just waiting for the bridge to extend. And put paid to this game, the sub 2 is real, 156.25, I think was the actual stop time, but you want to stop that race time room timer first.
We get our GG's in chat for Rick as Quizbowl. I assume continues on the climb. I can maybe double check. Yeah, he does continue on the climb. Hello and GG's to Rick.
All right. Nice little logic inverted seed. Nice way to spend your Thursday evening.
Oh yeah, that Moon Pearl is great. Fantastic.
Yeah, very much so. Especially considering, hey, here's this Thieves Town big key. Gee, it's for nothing.
Yeah, both of you decided to push Thieves Town early. Boils first. You just made the call to go back for that big chest significantly earlier than Quizbowl did.
Yeah.
Quizbowl opted for East Arc World first.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed, I made a routing goof, an inverted routing goof. I was trying to get to the hammer pegs, and then I'm like, oh, right. You can only get there by way of the light world and then the mirror over. So I'm like, okay, while I'm here, I got this Thieves Town big key for a reason. I'm going back in. Let's check this thing. Why did this seed give me this Thieves Town big key? It can't be just for the pendant.
So we're going to chalk it up to the backup strats. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I definitely will chalk it up to backup strat.
Well, I'm over here anyway. I may as well get something out of it.
And then I didn't realize it was going to be Fire Rod to the mitts. So you can go up the mountain and go into the light world and mirror into Laser Bridge.
To the bunny walk to Laser Bridge. Yep.
Inverted classic.
I felt so good when I got that Moon Pearl, though.
That can be kind of a tough Moon Pearl position to get to. This was not the worst I've seen a seed want a runner to do in trying to get a Moon Pearl off of Laser Bridge, but it was by no means the kindest either.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've definitely seen worse. Obviously, low health enemy bosses like Mothula or blind, or even getting you all the way down to cold stare so you can deal with 5-heart shuffle with that. I've seen that in a few races.
I think one of the asynchronous practice seeds had a substantially low percent cold stare like that for a Moon Pearl. I forget which one it was at this point, since that's been months ago, but yeah, that thing.
And then shoutouts to the Orange versus Someone race earlier this week that kind of made me wary of that if I was to get the flippers at any point in time in this proceeding.
Also, with the Quizbowl opening up that validation chest, what an absolute big brain play from you. I'm sure you calculated those 3 pieces of parts to get the full heal at the top of the climb. Exactly.
Yeah, we could see how much spoiler you play.
Okay, so let's see. How many pieces of heart do I have? I don't even need to bother checking my menu. I must have 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up that last chest. And lo and behold, there it was, the health refill when I needed it the most. I was okay. Yes, I wanted a sword. Yes, I wanted silvers, but that was the next best thing, a health refill, when my next game plan was to go and bonk into the tree next to the pyramid to get a fairy.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, that you were probably going to do that, or maybe even jump into Pyramid Fairy, because I don't believe you checked it, and it could have potentially been a blue or a red or something in there, or a fairy.
I wasn't even thinking of that possibility, but that would make sense if I were to do that.
Yeah, if you'd been in the situation where you needed health, you would have been walking right by that on your way to get the fairy off of the tree anyway. And maybe it just clicks in the brain, but then you get that refill in the ultimate chest of the game, and you say, nah, you know what? I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, it makes sense now that you brought that up. I just wasn't thinking about that.
Besides, it's not like you really needed the magic for the Ganon fight anyway. You're at half magic, and you can't even use the magic for the majority of the fight anyway, so.
And that was the reason why I decided I'm going to just spam every single piece of magic on those Lamolas. That was a horrible fight, the Lamo 2 fight, but I'm just going to go spam as much magic as I possibly can. I've got that green goo. If I had invulnerability like Burna, which Burna doesn't really do anything, or Cape, yeah, I will go ahead and want to have that green goo, but it does nothing on the Ganon fight at that point.
Speaking of the Ganon fight, Quizbowl in Phase 2 has used a fairy here. I'm not sure if he has more than one, and yeah, bouncing off of Ganon into those fire bats. Now needs to play it a little safe.
Like when I found that big key where I knew exactly what my strategy for inside the tower is going to be. We're going to bonk, we're going to get those 2 fairies. Thank you for the bug catching net right at the very end of the game.
Better than not at all.
Bingo. Bingo. But before,
just about to enter this final phase, about to start doing the very fun Master Swords over this. Yay!
I do want to shout out Quizbowl, though. I knew I had to take him seriously, especially after he beat me by 5 seconds in the first go around. And, you know, he's been a player that's been playing this game just like I was back in 2017. We're both in the original tournament.
Yeah, and it feels to me like I've been around forever at this point, and, well, it's only been about 3 years, so, yeah, 2017's been a while.
So, yeah, I have absolute mad respect for Quizbowl. I knew that he was going to do everything in his power to keep his tournament life alive with this race.
Yeah, did
this
have that
puts you
opportunity to set up the three-way race-off at 4 and 2 for spots in the brackets. Did not wind up that way, but no, a valiant effort put up for sure.
So then this puts you as first in the group and Gritisham as second?
Yeah, I'm going to be 5-1 with this result, which puts me as number 1 in the group, and Gritisham at 4 and 2 is going to be the second one through.
So you'll get a little well-deserved break while all of the other groups shake out, and then we get to start thinking about, well, what do the buys look like? It's starting to look maybe like we're going to see the 6 and O's race off, although that's not guaranteed.
Yeah, we'll see what winds up happening with regards to the 6 and O's or the 5 and 1s. Either way, no tiebreaker. I can sit back and relax for about a week.
Yeah, there was one group that was so on top of things, they did their tiebreaker three-way race-off earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, and what a painful seed that was, and that was a seed of legends. If anyone wants to watch that back, that was on ZSR2.
One of those seeds that definitely looks like a jet seed and then throws you the curveball.
Based on what I heard about that seed, it threw about 7 curveballs.
No, for a long time in that seed, it looked, oh, well, this is going to be a kind of an NRC. There was a time where I was watching and I thought, are they going to sub 140 this? They can sub 140 a fad keys. This is going to be ridiculous.
Right, but then it threw that 7 curveballs at the runners.
Yep. But there it is. Quizbowl with Pig Slain crosses the bridge and is done. And is going to join us here in the booth, I do believe.
Invrosia. What
I
am I
know
going
that feeling.
Well, GG's, Rick.
GG's to you as well. I saw your comment in the race chat there about you yelling at me for much of the first tower. I was yelling at myself for rolling this thing.
Man, I'm sitting at 1 hour. I'm in Tower of Hera, and I'm just like, what kind of garbage seed have you rolled? As I sit and reflect on my life, here, how I got to this point. Oh, but no, it's
So at what point did you get to the point of it was at this moment when he blanked up?
I don't think I ever had one of those moments. Because I felt like there was still a possibility. So I mean, of course, the nerves were getting to me in that Gannon fight. It's like there's still a chance. If you the red cane, that could have been a late item grab. If you isolate the Dark Cross or I'm trying to think of some of the other kind of weird item placements.
Honestly, the thing I got that cane relatively early after getting Light World access, but what I thought was going to get to me was the fact that the boots were just sitting right there in the sanctuary.
Yeah, that was kind of a feels bad kind of moment there, because I think my sweep of the Light World that got to that maybe kind of like middle of the pack, so it didn't feel great.
My strategy was on ABCD, the always be clearing dungeons. So I was doing swamp, I was doing ice. Of course, I had the Cane of Samaria for that, which made the Diver Down and the Icebreaker beneficial for those. But I was more just trying to figure out why the seed gave me the flippers. So I've been chasing those, which was why I was in those 2 dungeons and then doing the flipper checks.
Yeah. I will tell you, Invrosia is probably my least practiced mode, and so kind of just my understanding of the meta is what kind of is my downfall. Now, I mean, fortunately you got resources like you've got the got the auto track and everything, kind of helps you figure out, okay, this is now available, this is not available. So at least I wasn't hopelessly lost throughout the entire sea. But man, that item chain, it's like to get to the moon pearl, it's like go to the one green square, grab something, 3 green squares light up. Okay, go grab those 3 green squares, grab another item of progression, 2 more squares light up. All coming around to just coalescing on, where else does this seed need me to go? And of course, the low level or the low health blind fight and the Mothula fight kind of don't lead to much, and then it finally all coalesces on that laser bridge. Turtle Rock's got to find a way to rear its ugly head at some point, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just glad we had the back door.
Yeah, we didn't have to go all the way through there, but it definitely was one of those weird seeds. And I love the fact that you had to bunny walk to get to the sick kid, to get to the mirror, so you could even make Turtle Rock a possibility.
Well, that right, and so then the mirror also opened up the Meyer shed, right? Yeah, and there was something in there, right? That was the
that was the hammer.
The hammer, right? So it all kind of built one upon the other, and it was just like, man, this is why I don't play inverted.
Yeah, no, that bunny walk to the mirror so that you can get your hammer out of Meyer Shack, so that you can get your fire rod out of the Thieves Town Big Chest, so you can get your mitts off of Mothula, so that you can bunny walk again through Light Mountain to mirror onto Laser Bridge to get your Moon Pearl. Thank you, Inverted. That is a lovely item chain, and everyone should enjoy playing it.
Buckle up, everyone. We're on a 3-hour seed. A 3-hour seed.
Except for us, we finished it in under 3 hours, which was at least good for us. But
well, I mean that's when I started feeling like.
As I was saying to these two before you came in, I knew I had to take you seriously. First of all, you've knocked me out by 5 seconds in our first meeting, and then I mean the fact that you've been playing this as long as I have. Back in the first 2017 tournament, you were there. So
you looked me up, huh?
Yeah, I was kind of just because somebody else was asking. I was like, okay, who's still playing this game that was in the 105-person tournament back in 2017? And your name showed up. Kind of funny that 4 people out of my original group are still playing this game right now.
Yeah, no, people have kind of filed in and out, but I tell you what, that when I first was introduced to Rando, this was like back in, right before 2017. I think I had the opportunity to play like 2 seeds. I'm like, I love this so much. I'm signed up for that tournament. I don't even know how to stream. I've never done anything with Twitch. I just I found my old potato laptop, and I think I streamed it like 160p or something like that. Feasel rolled my first seed for me in the tournament. It was like, yeah, like so long ago. I can't believe it. But no, this I don't regret one minute of this, and it's a little bummed, because this is this first time in maybe like 3 or 4 years that I've failed to move out of the bracket, or out of the group stage into the brackets. But I mean, look who's going from Group T. We've got 2 excellent runners. I knew this was going to be a challenge when I rolled you guys.
And this was a very difficult group. I mean, I have you who've had a lot of rando experience. Devios has had some rando experience, and Grittishem has definitely come along here and has shown that they were only a 4th quartile in theory. So
yeah, so it was. Yeah, it was a tough group, but that's the way the cookie crumbles this time around. But the great thing about this community is there's always more opportunities around there to race. I still play the game weekly with a group of guys, and we just have a lot of fun with it. And we got the league coming up in the fall, so I'll look forward to that. But for right now, I'm going to congratulate you and Grittishem moving on from Group T. I know that you guys are great players, and I look forward to seeing you guys make it deep into the brackets. I want to see one of you guys make Final Four. Okay.
We're gonna try our best.
Okay.
GG's
Plus,
to you as well.
Yep. And and the other thing is, now that I'm out of the tournament, I've got all the time in the world to play Tears of the Kingdom.
What's that game?
What is that game?
I don't have time to play that game. I got an all Dungeons Key Sanity match tomorrow against Vortex.
That's a choice. Well, go fast. No, thank you both for putting on a great show.
Oh, thank you guys for having us. This was a lot of fun. You know,
Yeah.
getting restreamed is always like the highlight of these tournaments, and you know, it's anytime you get a chance to be featured like this, I really appreciate it. So
Yeah, special thanks to SoLastSummer for picking up this race.
Yep,
Of course,
some are
for
doing
YouTube
all that
for-
technological stuff behind the scenes. Link Force doing all of the tracking. That's what allows the commentators to really do our jobs, because it's impossible to watch two runners at the same time unless you're a tracker.
Mhm.
Somehow trackers just manage to do that sort of thing, and it kind of boggles my mind a little bit.
Trackers are amazing, and also big thank you to you two for commentating this thing.
yes, thank you guys so much. I look forward to going back and seeing the play-by-play and finding out exactly when that moment was that I messed up.
Always a pleasure. Bread, it has been fun, but I believe at this point we're getting ready to reach that point in the day where we must part.
Yeah. Time for us to wrap up, and it seems like we will be shooting this stream over and rating the ALttP randomizer Twitch stream, which currently is restreaming a race, main tourney between ACMLM and Gilgamesh. Doing a doubleheader.
That should be a fun one. Speaking of one old name from the community and one up-and-coming runner, well, that is the entirety of that matchup. ACMLM, been around forever, probably was in that 2017 tournament, I would think. Certainly a name that I've been familiar with from days of long ago, and Gilgamesh, much more recent to the community, but don't sleep on him. Guy's pretty good at the game. With that, I do believe that we can go ahead and raid on out of here whenever Summer is ready. Thank you all for dropping by. I hope you were all entertained by the match between Quizbowl and AdirondackRick this evening. But that's going to do it for us here tonight on the Go Mode podcast channel.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.